So, what is the number one tip that you would give to people for better public speaking?
That's a great question. The number one best tip I would give for public speaking is to slow down. It's okay to slow down and to take your time when you're in front of people. A lot of the times we get rushed in the emotions and the stress of trying to get our message across as quickly as possible so we don't lose the attention of the people listening to us. But that's not truly the case. If we actually slow down, it provides people with the opportunity to listen attentively to everything we need to say. So that is definitely the number one skill, just to slow down and breathe.
Okay, I'll practice that here with you to slow down and breathe, take my time. Actually, I told a story in the Vancouver Story Slam recently, and they have strict time requirements. So I had timed myself and how long I did it when I practiced. And then when I did it in the actual event, it was like just so much faster. And I guess the nerves kind of often make people speed up.
Yeah, that's generally the situation because like you said, especially if there's a time restriction, it's hard to keep track of time while you're speaking at the same time. And that adds a certain element of stress, of worry, and all those emotions when they well up, we immediately unconsciously start speaking a lot faster and faster, and we lose track of what we actually need to say. And next thing we know, our time is up and we haven't even gone to the point of what we want to say. So we end up saying a lot more faster and not even get to the point a lot of the times.
Mm. So knowing what your key points are, I'm hearing, is another thing to have in
Oh, yes.
mind.
Most definitely. Yeah. Practice, practice, practice. Especially if you have a presentation, you know you're going to speak in front of people, you know what it is you need to say, you have to practice. Preferably recording yourself so that you can time yourself as well to see how long it took for you to complete your speech. Refine it, practice it some more, practice in front of a mirror. Observe your body language. See what people are going to see when you're actually speaking.
Mm. Is that something that you do? You'll like practice in a mirror or record yourself and watch it back?
Yes, I do. I mean, the mirror part, I definitely do that. The recording is definitely new to me as well. I had a huge fear of recording myself and watching myself afterwards. It would always bother me a little bit. It's like I would hear my voice. I'm like, that's not how I sound. I don't want to sound like that. And I would look at my body language and I would criticize myself so much. But it was through those self-criticisms that I eventually began to grow and to be more comfortable around that practice.
Okay, and so maybe tell us a little bit about like your how you got into teaching public speaking and helping people with their public speaking.
Well, I've been a teacher for a very long time. I've been a teacher for about 10 years now. It's my passion, it's my profession, it's what I've always wanted to do. As I got into teaching, I realized that a lot of the times, especially in the very beginning when I was about 25 years old, my students would have difficulty following what I'm saying. They said, we have no problem hearing you. We can hear what you're saying. We love listening to you, especially when you start getting excited and enthusiastic about what it is you're talking about. But when it came to specific explanations, a lot of the times my explanations would fall short. And I realized there's a discrepancy here in my speaking and my clarity. So I slowly started refining those skills on my own. I didn't really participate in any public speaking programs. I just started trying different things with my classroom, see what works. Eventually I started getting better and better and better. And it got to a point where at this point, everywhere I went to, people would ask me, hey Vahan, give a speech. Hey Vahan, we love hearing you speak. When you speak, everyone listens. I love it when you talk. Go, go. Now, despite my inner critic of, oh my God, this is terrifying. I don't want to do this. Why is everyone asking me to do this? I'm not good. All these negative self-talks that keep kicking in, I faced the challenge, put myself into it. Okay, you want me to give a speech? Fine, I'll give a speech. It's not going to be great, but I'll try my best. And that's all it took to try my best. And every single time I got a little bit better, a little bit better. And then eventually I wanted to step into it a little bit more professionally. What I did at that point, I started teaching public speaking. I started working at a debate academy first. I worked there for about 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I would say. But I realized debate is not necessarily what I'm looking for. It's a lot of fun. It's fast paced, but it wasn't exactly the avenue I was looking. It wasn't the value I was looking to bring to people. So I took it a step back into public speaking. And through public speaking, I realized, yes, this is definitely something I can help people with. This is definitely a gift I want to give to the world, for sure. I created my own Toastmasters club for entrepreneurs. And through that, I attracted a variety of incredible human beings that have a world of experience more than I do. And I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to learn from every single one of these pioneers. From there, as I gathered more information, my classes that I'm teaching for public speaking got improved. Through that improvement, I started writing my own curriculum. Through my own curriculum, I started my own events, my own little activities around public speaking. And that's where Temple of Speak came to be about almost 2 years ago now.
Okay, amazing. There's a number of threads in there that I'm curious about. I'm curious about debate versus conversation. I'm curious about Toastmasters, having done a tiny bit of it, and I'm really curious about your curriculum. So maybe let's start with the curriculum because I feel like that might be useful for other people out there. Like, what are the main pieces in your curriculum?
My curriculum itself is a in-person 10-week program. It's meet up once a week for 3 hours. And essentially, it's about self-empowerment through your voice, through the voice activation. Ideally, the program pushes you through a variety of different emotions that are sometimes difficult to express. Depends on the person, of course. Some people would have a lot of ease expressing joy, just like some people would have a lot of difficulty expressing joy. Depends who you are and where you are in your life. Same thing with anger. Maybe someone has no problem being angry all the time, but there can be some people that are just so terrified of even talking about anger. But these are blocks that prevent us from moving forward in life. So my program is catered to creating a safe space, a sacred space, for you to be able to express those emotions in a safe container in a guided manner, and for you to bring it into your voice, to speak through every single one of these emotions. So that way, when you go out in life, regardless if it's in a professional or personal setting, any situation that you encounter, you already know what that emotion is going to make you feel like and what you're going to sound like when you're talking from that emotion. So it's about self-mastery through your voice.
So I'm so curious, like anger as an example. I think of anger as a mostly negative emotion. I mean, obviously there are uses for anger, but to practice speaking in anger, is that part of your practice?
That is one of the elements, yes. If I notice someone has a lot of difficulty expressing anger, then I just open up the space for them to express it. No judgment, no fear, no criticism, just let it out, however that may be, so that they can get used to seeing that even though you expressed it, hey, you're still alive, you're still here, and everything's okay. Nobody got hurt. And through that, they will get that experience of, okay, I'm feeling my anger here, or I feel my anger up in my head, or my stomach feels kind of weird. It's like, okay, let's channel that energy. Now, whenever you start feeling that anger is starting to bubble up, don't hold it down, but don't let the emotion control you either. Use it as a catalyst to propel you forward. Now, you called anger a negative emotion. Every emotion can be both positive and negative from my perspective. Anger can be used as a fuel that drives you forward and pushes you towards challenges, pushes you beyond your own limits. But it can also be something that can destroy every single thing around you. Same thing with joy. Joy is a positive emotion, as we always say. It brings about happiness. It's great to feel, yeah, I feel amazing. But if you go too far into joy, you start neglecting the things around you. You stop paying attention to things that actually need to be worked on because you're in this euphoric state of joy all the time. So there's positives and negatives to every single emotion. It's just about finding the balance. And that's found by expressing what the emotion is, by speaking through it, by allowing that emotion to pass through you instead of just allowing the emotion to guide every single action that you're doing.
Okay, so I'm hearing that emotions are a powerful piece of our voice, which makes sense. We're human beings and we have a lot of emotion, and uh, people that speak without emotion can be boring if you're giving a speech with absolutely no emotion. And so knowing when to have that emotion and bring it in can be a captivating part of speaking.
That's
And
right.
then what else is in your curriculum? What are some other things?
I'm glad you asked. So that would be the first, I would say, about 7 weeks of the program. Is just focused on a variety of different emotions, passing through them, expressing them, whatever it may be. And then the last 3 are now about integrating all of these different emotions and kind of allowing you to express your own hero's journey, your own life journey. So now we're stepping into the part where it's truly about leadership. It's truly about inspiration more than anything else. You're using your voice to bring change into the world. You're learning to inspire. You're learning to share your journey in a very motivational and inspirational way through your challenges, through your growth. You're also preparing something that you want to educate the world on. What is it you want to leave behind in the world? What's your vision that you want to create? So now, having gone through all these emotions, having gained a stronger understanding of the self, now I'm asking you to bring that forward into the world. What do you want to teach? What is a passion of yours? Do you even know? A lot of people don't know what their passions are. And I don't like seeing that in people because everyone does have a passion. It's just about not being afraid of looking deep and finding out what it actually is. Once they find out those passions, now I ask them, perfect, now everything we've learned, because as we're learning through the emotions, I'm also guiding them through the elements of public speaking, such as voice control, body language mastery, how to present yourself, how to use the different elements and different emotions. And I'm asking you to bring it all together. Share your journey, inspire us, and create a vision for the future. So essentially, I'm asking you, how are you going to get people to follow you? Why should I follow you into the future?
Mm. Okay, so I was thinking that it would mostly be about voice control and body language and those kind of technical aspects, but I'm hearing that it's a big piece is like self-discovery and and self-expression.
Yep. Through public speaking skills and voice mastery.
Okay. Now, when we say public speaking, I think some people might have the image of, somebody up on stage speaking to 1,000 people or something. Is all speaking public speaking?
Yes. I will say that that is correct in my perspective. But there is that myth that public speaking is immediately equated to being in front of a stage, on a stage in front of thousands of people and giving a speech. That is only an element of public speaking. When we say public speaking, I'm referring it to communication. Every single interaction that you're having. If you really look at it closely, we're doing public speaking in our personal environments, such as when we're going out to a networking event, we're going out to a friend's birthday party. You're walking down the street and someone stops you and asks you a few questions about where they need to go, or maybe you're having a situation with your partner. You're having a complication, communication is needed. You're at work. You need to speak to your manager. Now your manager's asking you to deliver pieces of information to the other staff, to your coworkers. This, all of this is part of public speaking. It's communication. We're social beings. Communication is very important. So when I'm saying public speaking, I'm referring to communication skills. How are you approaching all of these situations? How much confidence do you have in your voice? How clearly are you speaking? Are you always nervous? Are you always afraid? Are you using the right words, the right tonality that's matching the emotion of what you want the other person in front of you to feel? That's public speaking. It happens everywhere, all the time. And the more we refine these skills, the easier it becomes to face anything the world can throw our way.
Okay, and talking about like voice control, body language, what are some of those kind of tips that you would give for people to feel more comfortable or to come across better?
For voice, I would say it comes back to the first thing you asked me. It's about slowing down. By slowing down, I mean taking pauses. A lot of the time, what happens is when we're speaking, we get carried away. We speak really, really quickly, And then we end up like filling every single word with a different word that kind of sounds like this, and then we're just a little stressed out and a little confused, and then we try and make sure that everyone understands what we're saying, right? That last 30 seconds, I'm sure, was quite stressful. I even saw you fidget in your chair. It got you so stressed. And that's the whole point. So the first thing is really slowing it down. Taking pauses means taking a breath in between sentences, in your sentence in itself. Commas are there for a reason. They're meant for you to take a break, take a breath. And through that, it allows the person in front of you to digest every single part of what you're saying, instead of getting stuck with every single one of those buffers, like, yeah, kind of, right, these ruin the message that you're trying to send forward. Psychologically, it shows us that we are uncertain of what we're saying. We want the person in front of us to feel comfortable and confident in what I have to say. And that starts immediately through the vocabulary and the speed of which I'm speaking as well. Pauses are super important. And as part of body language, the number one most important thing is your posture. Everything else is secondary. Your posture is the most important. If your shoulders are shriveled forward as you're talking, you can say the most confident thing. But if you're shriveled forward, that energetic field that you're letting out is going to be felt. And that person is immediately going to doubt, okay, they sound very confident, but I don't know if I can trust this person. What's going on? It's all subconscious. So posture, roll your shoulders back, stand up straight, open posture. Yeah, this is what I have to say. Take it or leave it.
Okay, posture, body language. Yeah, like, I could see myself on here as we're talking. So I'm like, oh, I was kind of like slouched to the side, I'm comfortable chatting with you, but just like trying on this more upright posture feels pretty good. Slowing down, you mentioned the ums and the ahs and the likes and the kinda and the wiggle words.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in Toastmasters they count them. Is that
Yes.
the case? And
Yeah,
they'll
they
let
do.
you know at the end. It's like you use 10 wiggle words, ums and ahs, or only 3, or I mean, it's pretty rare that people have none, but maybe people that have been practicing the art of communication and speaking can get there.
Hmm. Yeah, that is very true. And that's definitely one of the really fun aspects of public speaking. It's hyper focused on the skills itself. Every single meeting, all the meetings run exactly the same way, to be honest with you. It's a very rigid system. They all run the same way,
Are you
but
talking about Toastmasters now?
Toastmasters, yeah, they're all the
Toastmasters.
same. But the cool thing is, cheers. The cool thing is that you can refine those skills. Like you said, there's always people that count them, they make sure you're on time. So it's a great way to bring awareness towards the skills, where your pitfalls are, what you're doing well, where's your areas of improvement. In that regard, it is quite helpful. But again, as much as I learned through Toastmasters, it didn't quite provide me with what I was looking for, which was truly that self-empowerment that I am bringing forward through my own program.
Right. Well, I like the name Toastmasters because I think of it as like you're at the dinner table with your family or some friends and
Yeah.
somebody stands up to give a toast.
Yep.
And they're like, everybody, I just want to say thank you so much for coming. It's an honor to have you here in my kitchen. And thank you so much, Vahan, for bringing this wonderful platter of food. You are truly a giver and a good friend. Cheers, everybody. And it's like a kind of the little mini public speaking that most people have an opportunity to do at Christmas or Thanksgiving or even just a dinner kind of thing. And then your program you've called the Temple of Speak. So where did that come from?
Right. So I was in the process of looking at it, and I was stuck with two ideas at the very beginning. These two ideas were, all right, I want to bring voice coaching into this. How to use your voice to advance in life, either in leadership, business, work, environment, all the entrepreneurial aspects of life. But then there was also a part of me that, yeah, but it's not just that. I've heard so many different speeches. And a lot of the times I've always felt that they're performing. There was a certain element of lack of emotional connection. So I wanted to bring that aspect in it as well. I'm like, okay, how can I bring these two together? What would be a good name that would fit? So I decided on speak. Speak needs to be added in there, something around speaking, so that people understand that it has something to do with your voice. And then why I chose temple, because your body is a temple. Your energy and everything that's found inside of you is part of the temple. So the temple of speaking. So it's referring to your body, to your energy. And that's kind of where the name came from, for me at least. Temple of
Okay.
speaking. Yeah. Holistic approach towards unlocking your voice and your energetic power to empower you.
Nice. Well, I love that idea that our body is our temple. And actually, I have a song I'm writing that that is exactly that
No
in part
worries.
of the chorus. And our body is with us every day, every minute, every hour, every day, from birth till death. And it's up to us to take the best care of it that we can. And that comes in so many different ways: health, wellness, communication, relationship with other people. So I like what you're doing.
Thank you.
Um, what else on my curiosity list was debate. So you mentioned being in a debate class or program or
Yeah.
something. So a little while ago, actually, it was when Charlie Kirk was killed, unfortunately, that I kind of went into a rabbit hole of him, and he was quite into debate, public debate, and there's all these videos online of him debating people. And there was one where he went to Oxford University and took on the debate group. And it kind of opened my eyes as to what debate is and how it's different from discussion and communication, or it's one form of communication. So it seems to me like debate is when you have a point of view and you're not changing it and you're trying to like explain it so that maybe the onlookers will come over to your side. But I don't know, I might be wrong about that. How would you say debate versus other discussions?
So debate does have a variety of different formats that function through it. But the main premise is that, like you said, it's that back and forth. That back and forth between you keeping your ground on your own standpoint and constantly arguing for your decision, also arguing against what your opponent, let's say, is bringing forward. Now, the interesting thing about debate and why public speaking is, in a sense, part of debate is because for each response that you're giving, generally speaking, you have a very, very short time frame. And a lot of the times you have to give very specific examples that can sometimes be very long and very difficult to bring forward. And one, you need to have it memorized very clearly. Your speaking needs to be coherent, clear, and you have no room for filler words. All those willy-nilly words that you call them. So every single one that you're adding in there, you're losing a second of your time. Every like, there you're losing time. You don't have the luxury of that. You need to speak very quickly, very accurately, very clearly to bring about your point and prove your point. Hit the buzzer, next. I just proved you wrong. It's really fast paced, it's very competitive. But that's generally for competitions, which is part of the academy I was for. They were doing those types of activities. Now, debating is a great avenue for those who want to become politicians. Definitely. I mean, that's what politics is all about. It's all about debating. Hey, I have a point of view and I'm going to get it across. I'm going to fight tooth and nail till the very end. And that's where debating comes in.
And I guess that's why we see sometimes politicians are being interviewed and they'll be asked a question and they'll, instead of answering the question, they'll just talk their talking points. and a lot of people, I mean, see through that sometimes, but then also it kind of keeps the politician on track.
Yeah, most definitely. But I do have to admit that a lot of the politicians don't have proper public speaking skills because the amount of uhs I hear in their speeches is sometimes drives me insane.
Mm.
That's why I can't listen to it.
Have you thought about doing a program for politicians?
Oh my goodness. And give them more power? I think I'm okay. Oh boy.
And what's like your favorite bit of the Temple of Speak that you're doing?
Mm. My favorite bit is truly the hero's journey part. I love hearing people's life stories, but in a way where you're bringing inspiration into it. We've all faced challenges in our lives. We've all faced difficulties. We've all overcome obstacles. The whole purpose of that aspect is to take all of your stories and to become a hero in it. So this particular part is very helpful, especially for many of us that are stuck in victim mentalities, let's call it, where the world is against us and its weight is so heavy, I cannot find a way to move forward. This particular practice is meant for you to tell those stories and to really dig deep into the different ways in which you've improved, what you learned, and how you overcame or are overcoming that struggle even today. So not only are you inspiring the people in front of you, but you're empowering yourself as well. And I find that's one of the most powerful aspects of this program and my favorite part as well.
Amazing. I love it. So it's like casting yourself in the role of the hero and understanding that the hero goes through challenges. I think in the classic hero's journey, there's like a trip down to hell
Yeah,
and then coming back, and then you meet the wise sage that helps you, and then eventually come into your come into your own at
yeah,
the end.
exactly.
So are you encouraging people to find their own story of the hero's journey
Hmm.
and be able to tell it?
Yeah, tell your own life story. Tell your own story. Where did it start from? Where'd you grow up? Who are you? As you started growing older, what are some difficulties? Of course, I don't force people to share everything. Of course, some things are meant to be private. There's nothing here that to share that you don't want to share, of course. But if you do share, confidentiality is, of course, within the container. So that allows a little bit more of a safe space for them to speak and to get more comfortable in sharing these certain things that create limitations in our lives or keep us separate from other people for that matter. And just dive deeper into it. Share your story. And as you're writing that story, a very interesting psychological process happens, and that you realize that, wow, I've actually gone through so much. I've done so much in my life so far. I've overcome all of these things. And yeah, you know what? I'm still here and I'm still standing. And this is everything that's happened. And this is how I overcame it. This is what I did. This is how difficult that was. And now you're teaching people lessons. You're giving stories because the best way that people learn is not always through textbooks, it's through storytelling. That energetic resonance that we feel allows us to immediately understand things on such a deeper level than a textbook can. So sharing your story is actually one of the most powerful ways of influencing a whole generation even.
Cool. I've heard that storytelling is so powerful. And um, I've been wanting to write a kid's book
No
about
way.
communication, actually, and based on like the magic words, please, and then wrapping it up into magic spells. And I had kind of been thinking of it as a bit of a spell book, but I've been thinking lately that it should become a story and have the lessons hidden in the story rather than just try and beat people over the head with them.
Right. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. That's actually a really cool concept.
Yeah. And stories, like I know you from the personal development community here. Humans are such story creating machines. And I know in some of the personal work, it's like examining the stories that we have about the events in life that have happened to us or by us, and understanding that we create these stories. They're based on facts, but stories go well beyond facts to add meaning and emotion. And it's an empowering concept to think that we are the storytellers and to consciously craft the story arc that we want to see. And the hero's journey is a great template where there's adversity, there's challenge, there's struggle, there's the dark night of the soul,
Yes.
and then there's victory at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the whole premise. Write your story. We create the world that we live in, or at least how we perceive the world that we live in. So through crafting that story, we start changing the perspective that we have over it. We start freeing ourselves, liberating ourselves from our own limiting stories that are defeating us, and we turned it into power, into strength.
Right on. So if people wanted to do this Temple of Speak program, is it online? Is it in person? How would they find more?
The Temple of Speak program is an in-person program, particularly because of a lot of the body language work that I do with people, and a lot of the activities are better done in group settings. So that way we can bounce off of each other, learn how to attune with each other energetically, body language wise, and it's always best to give your speeches in front of a live audience. So you're always talking in front of a cohort of about 10 people. It's speaking in front of them. Yeah, it's not a huge crowd, but for some people, 10 people can be a lot of humans in one room. And it's about challenging. It's about creating that comfort. It's about learning to receive feedback, to no longer be afraid to speak your mind. So you need to be in person for that. I am planning on creating an online version for it too, but the online version, I see it more towards being more catered towards entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs who are directly already have that confidence of speaking in front of people, and they're just looking to refine their speeches. They want more direct feedback. Here's a video of me giving my speech, give me some feedback. So that's going to be more of a later on project, but for now, it's just all in person. It's 10 weeks. And to find out more about it, they can follow my social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn as well. Simply search Temple of Speak.
Okay, well, we'll put a link down there to Temple of Speak. And so I'm hearing it's in person, and that's in Vancouver, British Columbia.
That's right. That's right.
And do you have a cohort coming up, or what day of the week is it?
I do not have a cohort coming up for that yet, as of yet. For now, what I have been doing is running different little events, small little gatherings and events that incorporate aspects of public speaking, especially if you're afraid of public speaking, which is surprisingly a large amount of the population that are terrified of public speaking. You know, I read recently in one of the TED Talk books that I have that apparently public speaking is people are more afraid of public speaking than they are of death and of heights. I was so shocked. You're just communicating in front of people. But I understand it because I had that similar fear as well in the beginning. So I've created these small events at, whoop, let's bring this back. I don't know what just happened there. Give me 1 second. That's odd. Well, I guess I'm going to be a little flu for now.
Well, we can take a minute. There's no problem to edit this section out. So
yeah, let me just
yeah,
see.
so interesting. You've gone out of focus.
All right, give me a second.
Is it focused on your background? Maybe go like all the way back and go all the way forward.
Ah, there we go. Okay, yeah, that was the situation. Okay, cool. We're back. All right. What were we saying?
So do you have any events coming up?
Yes, so I run my events at French Quarters in Gastown.
Nice. I love Friends Quarters.
A great spot. It's a great spot. If you've never checked it out, by all means, walk on down there on Hastings. They're very friendly. It's a great spot for work and events as well. The next event I have coming up actually is a entrepreneurs networking event for startups. So if you're starting up in the entrepreneurial world, you have a great idea you've been working on for a few months, this is your opportunity to come in, meet other like-minded entrepreneurs that are starting up their businesses as well, network with them, but most importantly, you will be given just a quick crash course on public speaking. Because especially if you're going into the entrepreneurial world, you will have to do a lot of speaking, a lot of presenting of your business, a lot of pitching, a lot of negotiating, a lot of communication will happen. Therefore, I will be providing an opportunity for each entrepreneur there of 5 minutes under a spotlight for you to get up on this little stage in front of a mic, in front of everybody, and pitch your business. Pitch it. What is your vision? What is it that you're doing? Why are you doing this? You have 5 minutes. And through that 5 minutes, it's not about a hit or miss or getting it right. It's about a space to practice it, to see what it feels like. How good are you at actually presenting your business? Now you're going to realize it. Wow, okay, I'm not too clear as to what I want. But now you have a group of other people that are in the same boat as you are. They're going to give you feedback. They're going to give you support. Hey, that sounds like a cool idea. Let's refine it together. What is it exactly that you're trying to do? Or maybe if you did nail it, well, now you might have people that are there to join, maybe, to learn from you. Hey, that was a great pitch. I loved it. That sounds like an incredible idea. Let's connect further this week. And that's the whole purpose of it. I'm trying to build a community of startup entrepreneurs that are growing together, providing their different skill sets to each other so that they can all grow together. So that's the next event. It's coming up on January 24th. It's at 7 p.m. Tickets are only $25. Come on down. There's games as well. There will be a prize. Come on down.
Sounds awesome, man. I will make sure to get this podcast out to the world before then. um, yeah.
There will be more. There are 2 more that I'm planning for February. One is actually a speed dating event in February, because where else do you really need communication than in romance?
So is there also going to be like feedback and
Oh, most definitely there will be.
tips at the
There will be.
speed dating thing?
Yes. How to hold proper eye contact, how to slow down, how to speak, how to control your own nervousness when you're talking to someone you're attracted to.
So is this going to be a combination speed dating event and like communication
Yep.
teaching event?
Yes, it is. This is
Wow.
definitely something very new I'm trying. It's definitely experimental, but it's a fresh new approach. Why not learn more about communication and how to use your voice and be more aware of your body and using all these skills for dating?
I love it, man. I mean, there's so many people out there that want to meet their person,
Hmm.
um, and
Organically, at least. Forget these apps. Let's get away from screens. Let's get back to organic meeting, and that comes through communication, through our confidence, through our voice. A lot of the times, the reason we don't approach someone is because, oh, what are they going to think? I don't know what to say. What do I look like? What am I going to do with my hands? These are all public speaking skills. You'll know exactly what to do with your hands and your body language and your energy and your voice and what you're going to say.
okay, there you go. Meet the love of your life through better communication and speaking.
Exactly.
So I know you've been doing the conscious relationship training work in Vancouver, BC. Is there any crossover of that and your communication learnings?
There are some elements of it that have inspired the direction of my program, especially in regards to that deeper self-understanding, that emotional expression that I'm almost pushing people into. There is, for example, each of my workshops begin with a guided meditation that allows you to feel and tap into a specific emotion. And through that emotion, yes, there will be a lot that will come out. So there is a certain element of some shadow work that is occurring here. Because it's by looking deeper into us that we truly understand what's the story behind the emotion. What's the story behind why I'm afraid to express this emotion? What is the story behind why I love expressing this emotion? Why I'm always in that space? So it's just about bringing that deeper self-understanding. My program for Temple of Speak is deeply rooted in the philosophy of know thyself. The more you know yourself, the more you understand yourself, it will significantly become easier for you to express yourself in the world because you know who you are. You know how you're going to speak. You know how you're going to behave. You know what your opinions and your thoughts and your beliefs are. and therefore you can clearly communicate them at that point. Most of the time, why many people become people pleasers, why I was a people pleaser, for example, is because I didn't really know myself. I didn't know what my opinions were. I didn't know how to communicate them, most importantly. Because I knew every time I tried, I didn't know the right words. I didn't have the proper body language. There was a lot of insecurities that would come out with everything I tried saying, and that immediately would land incorrectly with the person in front of me. I would always be met with challenge, or sometimes with quite a lot of rudeness. It's like, oh, you're an idiot. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. So I became a people pleaser. Yeah, I would agree with everything and anything people were saying. But then eventually that led me to start having this internal conflict, this internal discomfort that started bubbling inside of me. Who am I? Truly. It's like you lose sight of who you are at that point. And that's kind of where CRT kind of came in. When I started doing that program, I started regaining that connection, that relationship with myself. And the more I started rooting in there, the more I realized that these skills that I've been building around public speaking started gaining so much more authenticity. I started showing up as so much more of a genuine person. I was no longer performing in those skills. I'm just being 100% myself at this point, which immediately allows such beautiful connections to happen with almost everybody, with almost any single person. Because now I have the skills to be able to conversate, to share ideas and bounce back and forth, to debate almost to a certain extent. Someone tells me an opinion that might be against mine. Instead of immediately being felt with this anger and all these different emotions, well, I know where my anger comes from. I know where my jealousy comes from. I know where my judgments come from. And instead of just allowing those emotions to take over and dump them on the person in front of me without being aware of what I'm actually saying, now I feel those emotions coming up. I understand what's behind them. And now I allow my voice to speak through those emotions. Hey, you just shared an opinion. I'm not too sure I understand what it is that you mean. Instead of, I don't agree with that whatsoever, blah, 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 blah. Say, okay, I'm feeling some discomfort around what you just said. I'm not sure I fully comprehend it because this is my point of view around this topic. Where does your point of view come from? Why do you say that XYZ is your perspective? And now we can start having the conversation. Now the person in front of you is getting disarmed. They're slowing down as well. And now you're having this conversation. And a lot of the times you'll see that you end up making friendships over the basis that, hey, we agreed to disagree. I like you. I respect you. Simple as that.
Yeah, if you can do it in a respectful manner. And I heard one thing you do there was come with curiosity
Yes.
rather than judgment.
Yes.
So powerful, curiosity. Something else that struck me there was you were talking about know thyself. And you mentioned how we all have these unconscious stories that we tell it ourselves. And for a lot of people, I think they stay unconscious. Even for me, I'm sure I have a number of stories that are running in my mind that I don't fully understand, haven't fully acknowledged. And so finding those unconscious stories and then understanding that they are stories and they're created by us based on facts, but the same facts you could tell 10 different stories about, and then taking control and kind of reshaping the story into a
Yeah.
hero's journey type
100%.
thing
Yeah.
seems
And
like a big piece of your puzzle.
definitely. And the key here is that the stories never end. There's always new stories that our minds will craft around different situations. I look at it as a muscle that you're training, that you're building through this program. The more you understand the different emotions and the stories that are attached to these emotions, one, you start learning to fact check. You start fact checking these stories. Is it actually real? Or is it just my perspective on it? Now you start gaining a deeper understanding of what's real, what's not real, what's an opinion, what's a judgment, what's a belief, what's a value. And the more we get attuned with these things, now you start becoming the watcher of your being, of your mind and of your body and of your emotions. Now, whenever you encounter a situation where all of a sudden you're welled up with all these emotions, And now you're starting to notice you're seeing a story being written in your mind all of a sudden. It's like, hey, whoa, okay, there's a story that's being written here all of a sudden. And now you're looking at that story, and it's like you're watching TV. You're watching the show. Your ego is creating these stories around it. And as you're looking at that story, halfway through, you'll realize, okay, no, that's honestly bullshit. And you immediately let go of that story, and you're just allowed to feel that emotion. Because that's what our minds do. When an emotion comes up, we try and rationalize the emotion by creating all of these stories. And a lot of the times that comes at the expense of us becoming victims. But that's not always necessary. It's really not. It's all about just feeling the emotion, and it's okay. Hey, I feel sad, and that's okay. I feel angry right now. That's okay. I don't need to create and concoct all these different stories around it, because a lot of the times you'll just spiral further into it, and it's not going to lead to anything good. Now you're just amplifying that emotion more and more and more and more and more, instead of just feeling it and going through it and getting to the other side. And that's part of this program is about bringing that awareness and just speaking it out. Because when you're speaking it, you're also creating a dialogue with yourself. You're creating that dialogue. It's like, man, I'm feeling, because you've gained the body language skills and you have that understanding of all the different parts and emotions that you're feeling in your body. It's like all of a sudden you feel that tightness in your chest. It's like, oh, I know what this is. This is my anxiety kicking in. And I know that my anxiety usually comes from self-abandonment, or I'm doing something I'm not supposed to, or I'm not following a trajectory that I should be following. So for myself, at least, when I feel anxiety, it's an abandonment of my inner child. That usually, so it's my inner child that's like screaming at me. It's like, Vahan, no, don't do this. Or why aren't you doing this? And I start having that conversation with myself all over again. Start having that conversation. I see the stories that are being built in my mind, and I speak them out to see how much sense they actually make. All right, a story I'm feeling right now is that, you know, F that guy and screw that person and they treated me this way and that's why I'm feeling this way. But that's not true. That's not true in the end of the day. You know, I could have done better on this. I could have done better. It's like, hey man, I'm sorry. This is like calms down, and you start building that better dialogue with yourself. So these public speaking skills are not necessarily just for the audience. It's about building a better connection with yourself as well. Like I said, the main aspect is know thyself. When you know thyself, you have a better relationship with yourself, and you have a better relationship with the outer world. And that always starts with understanding your temple and learning how to share what's inside your temple with the world, and that's through your voice. Hence, temple of speak.
That's beautiful, man. I love that. I didn't realize that it was so much emotion work. And it makes sense. And it gives me some interesting things to think about. So thank you so much for joining me here,
My pleasure.
Vahan Bedros, with the Temple of Speak. Link in the comments down there.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Dustin.